So when we talk Bitcoin, it's always this weird internet money, this new money. It's not going to take, it's for the techies, it's for everybody but regular old folks working every day trying to make a living, trying to prepare for the future, right? And I thought the same thing. When I first heard about cryptocurrency, I was confused. So let's learn the truth about it. I'm Tasika. Welcome to the Orange Rabbit Hole. All right, so let's just jump in. My personal story on how I found Bitcoin and how I even decided to do something like create the Orange Rabbit Hole. I was introduced to Bitcoin a long time ago. I'm ashamed to say 10 years ago is the first time I heard about it when I lived in Germany and my husband was stationed overseas. I heard about it just from a friend. I didn't know what they were talking about. They could have been talking about anything. I was like, what in the world is that? And I never looked into it. Wish I had. And then I heard about it again when I started trading back in 2019. I started doing small trades. First it was Forex and then kind of optional trading, just dabbling. And I had heard about cryptocurrency again and Bitcoin again. I had joined the Wealth Squad with Chris Johnson and his whole team, and I had heard about it some more. I still didn't quite grasp what it was. I thought it was interesting, but not interesting enough. I didn't go down that rabbit hole, let's just say. But I did understand it might be the new something something worth putting a few dollars in. So I put 20 in, 30 in, just a few dollars, trying to test it out. And then it dropped, and I was like, oh heck. And I left, didn't think anything else of it. And yeah, and that's how my Bitcoin journey started. So, of course, I went down the altcoins, learning a little bit about Cardano, XRP, the whole shebang. And I was in it. I said, this is awesome. This sounds like the new thing. I really want to be a part of that. And I had started my real estate stuff and creative financing, and I was just all excited last year to just delve in. We've had a hard few years, and I was ready for a change and some new stuff. Late last year, I want to say fall, let's just say September, August, September, after I had really went down the XRP rabbit hole, I was learning things and Bitcoin just kept making sense. I had finally started listening to the Bitcoin Standard on the audiobook on YouTube. And I was just like, okay, I understand this XRP thing. That makes sense. I get it. The government's going to try to hold on to their power. It would be a hedge against Bitcoin. But wow, let me learn a little bit more about Bitcoin. And honey, I went down that rabbit hole and got orange pilled. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's all I can say. Bitcoin is phenomenal. The more you learn, the more you go into the tunnel of information. It's so much, and it's so transparent. You can look it up. Everything can be verified. It's actually quite amazing. And so the more you learn, the more you listen. It's a hard compared to what we're used to, because compared to what we understand about money, it's literally the antithesis. And so that's a hard concept to wrap your head around. But once you do, you see it, and it makes all the sense in the world. It really does. On this journey, what I realized is that Bitcoin can literally be a safe haven for people just like myself. People who work every day, their husbands work every day, they work every day, their family's just trying to make it. My parents could have used something like this. They worked their entire lives for their home. Then the daggone 2008 crash happened. They lost their house. Some years later, they held on to it for as long as they could, but they literally still impacted them, especially because they were already elderly, and they 25 years in that house, and they still ended up losing it because of the 2008 crash. We're all looking for ways to store our wealth. You work every day. You want the money that you Work so hard to create, to give to your family, to actually be able to save it, and to know that it can be inflated away through what they call printing of the dollar, but really it's just the credit. They're giving out all this credit through the banks, and the banks can just create money out of nothing through debt. And once you realize that, you're like, well, that's not fair. My family, we work, everyone works every day to get this dollar, and then you could just create more, and then my dollar can't buy as much. The purchasing power is just depleted. That was disheartening to really understand it. And it makes sense though why nothing else works, why we can't ever seem to change our political climate, why things just don't ever seem to work. It's not made to. You can't when your money system is broken like that, and the only people that can get extremely wealthy are, closest to the printer, you know. Well, I wouldn't say the only people, but you get my point. It makes it really, really hard for a regular person to save. You should be able to save, cut coupons, live at a lower rate than you make money, and save your money. But that is simply not a truth. It's not a truth. You make $30,000 a year, you live like you make 15, 20, you are going to still be struggling no matter what, because it's not enough. Everything's going up and you can't save. And even if you do save, it's being devalued every 4 years. Every 4 to 5 years is being devalued. And it's just that simple. And that sucks. And that sucks. So your only other option is to hustle, 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 get a second job, make more money, figure it out, invest, become an investment guru, become a stock person, a trade person. Because you can't just work a job and save. It's just not enough. You'll be just treading water. You get a 401k, you'll be treading water. Everything is just treading water. Everything is just enough, just not suck. And then even that doesn't work for everybody. So Bitcoin was a saving grace. That's how I saw it. Bitcoin was or is an opportunity to kind of get ahead and start saving my money in something that can't be devalued just because the system decided to. And they can't take it from me. And that's how I got orange pill. If you're looking for a place to find more information, to just common sense stuff, not all of the tech stuff. I try not to talk about politics if I can. Sometimes you just can't help it because it's all included. But if you're just looking for a place for a regular person just like you who is learning about Bitcoin, you want to follow my journey towards trying to get my Bitcoin, and hopefully you join me and find it interesting and to learn more yourself. The next video is going to be about why Bitcoin is more than just digital gold. I know you hear that all the time, and explore why it's much more than that and why you need to understand it. Let's go. Welcome to the Orange Rabbit Hole.